when you don't have the visibility of every job and where everything is at, it becomes a whole nother job to figure out what that is. Same with when you have 25 jobs in the ticker, or you have 100 jobs in a ticker. One day without moving where things need to go throws off the entire system, throws everything off.
What's up, everybody? We've got a special episode for you. Got a good friend here, Aaron Trujillo, and I'm changing my CRM. I'm blowing everything up. We're going from 8 figures to 9 figures, and I outgrew my system. I'm humbled to tell you that as a guy who my heart and tears were for my dad's big picture vision, his software Claim Express, to sell, build, collect. It's been developed even since the beginning ages of AccuLinks. And as I grew, I had to work with other softwares and automations. And I lost the ability to really track all the different stages of completion in this roofing and insurance restoration game, and I had to seek a different answer. And so inside this episode, I'm going to be breaking down with Aaron, who's been working with me on this complete transformation of my company, our process. We're also going to be talking about problems that we've seen in other roofing companies where they've failed in their process. And maybe if you're using a CRM, what things you could be getting more if you were having better processes or if you had a different CRM. And so we're going to compare Job Nimbus, AccuLinks, Zoho, Infusionsoft, HubSpot, a lot of different CRMs. We're going to talk about, the system that we're building. And so this episode is going to be one where we dig deep into the nuts and bolts of how to make it work. Building a roofing company is not easy. You grow the company, you grow expenses. I've seen people even have negative consequences from growing too fast and not having a system. I'm a guy that wants to commit now and figure it out later. And, it's amazing that a lot of roofing contractors are now getting more open-minded to this stuff, because if you don't have a good system, you're stealing from your family, you're stealing from your people. The culture of customer satisfaction and of transparency that you want to breed between your clients and your people, it begins to get disrupted by Murphy's Law in roofing, which is all hell breaks loose, buddy. Mm-hmm. So that brings me to Aaron. I heard about Aaron as a consultant online, that he was effective and process, and I'd heard that he worked with a bigger company, Interstate Roofing, and Scotty has been an innovator as a blue-collar entrepreneur, and you were working with Scotty as like a right-hand man. How'd you get into roofing?
Oh, wow. I honestly speaking, I needed to pay my child support.
Nice.
And so I asked a buddy, like, hey, do you got anything? He told me, yeah, meet me here Saturday morning. And I met him at a roofing office and a roofing company office, and we went canvassing, and I literally...
Nice. So you're a door-to-door
guy. Yeah, I went...
See, I always got these
doors.
Consultants, and I'm the door-to-door guy. I'm like, oh, he couldn't cut it in the field. Were you a good door knocker?
I was. I was pretty successful at it. I made good money there, but I'm from Denver, Colorado, so we get snow. I didn't want to be continually knocking doors through the summer or through the winter, so I kind of just asked the office, like, hey, is there anything I can do? I have a background in process engineering. I worked at Sprint for 12 years, and I just was down on the luck. I didn't have a job. I got fired, and I needed a new job. And I went in and kind of asked, hey, is there anything that I can do here?
Now, if everybody's watching this, don't know. Everybody wants to build a king of the market company, one who people know about, the billboards, the commercials, the sales guys, the leads, the jobs. 8-figure roofing companies that are the dominant player in the market. And that's what Interstate was in Colorado and is. And to this day has continued to grow and to be a leader in the marketplace. Now, can you just let my viewers kind of know about the history of the company there and like the environment that you were getting into, because it's exciting when you see what, you want to get involved in what was happening. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I didn't know anything about roofing when I came into this. I didn't know. So my first experience was going into a very large roofing company. So I figured this is what all roofing companies were like. But when I came in, I saw there was just a lot of chaos, and things worked well. Don't get me wrong, everybody did just a lot of work. Everybody wore 18 different hats. There was a sense of process, but the sales guys had their own process individually. But it worked somehow. And they had a system at the time, very paper oriented. It was exciting. I mean, and the sales meetings, all that stuff, it was amazing. It was fun.
What year was this?
This was in 2012.
Okay.
That year, I believe there's a hailstorm, a big storm that year. So it was they had somewhere around 50 or 60 sales guys.
Woo, that's good.
Yeah, and so all working their own kind of process on you had your new guys, you had your $1 million salesmen that had their own process, and you had your middle of the road guys that just were going and getting their jobs, getting them roofed and moving on. They did all insurance work. I basically came in just learning everything about it. Like I didn't know, I figured, okay, this is what a roofing company looks like. A 60 million, this is how they look like. But throughout the process, I realized that's not the case. There's there's every size of roofing company. But that was basically where we're at. There's lots of departments, some sort of handoff that worked well, but still a lot of manual work that was happening that I noticed right away, coming from more an engineering side of things and process engineering, and seeing that streamlined process, mainly, bad word corporate. That's what I came from. I recognized wow, there's probably opportunity here to have a little bit more handoff and have a better system involved. And that was the first thing I saw. It was an incredible how well the company.
Must be a testament to Scott as a leader.
Oh, man, to be able to have that kind of chaos but still be successful was incredible. It's like they just kind of they knew this is chaotic.
It's like you know how to put out fires. You know how to handle problems.
Exactly.
You know how to step up to the plate.
Yeah, you had a really good heads on everybody.
It wears on people.
That was the problem. That's the issue, right? So eventually you get a lot of overwhelm, and you have guys that, a lot of sales guys that they get fat and they disappear for a couple months because they're just overwhelmed. They're tired. Well, all salesmen are. And so, and internally, same thing kind of happened. You get the overwhelm. There's too much work.
And
it's just a pile.
Office versus sales staff.
Right. Exactly. And it's very much different. So the office staff are dealing with all jobs. The sales guys deal with their jobs. And so when it gets into the office, it's pivotal to have some kind of process in line. So at least there's handoffs. So everybody knows what their piece of the puzzle is. When you're working in okay, just find something and do it scenario, it's fine for now because that one thing's getting done, but it's not something that is redundant, and you can't duplicate that. Especially you can't duplicate one person that's doing 18 different jobs.
Right.
You have to trust that one person and to do everything and get everything done. And you have 5 or 6 people doing all these other things. It's hard to find handoffs because one person could be doing 3 different parts of the process that aren't linear. They're not all part of one system, and it's going back and forth, and things get lost. Things start falling off the plate. That's when the chaos even gets worse because nobody knows what's going on. One dude needed a vacation or having a kid. He's got to be gone for a couple weeks. That leaves a massive hole in the process in your office, and so. That's kind of the stuff that we were seeing, and I was in a place where I'm the guy who's going to come and is like, just tell me what to do and I'm going to do it. And if you're not going to do it, I'll do it and I'll take care of it. And I would just pile it on. That resulted in literally 14, 15-hour days, going in real early because that was the only 3 hours I had of peace and quiet that I can do my work. From 9 o'clock in the morning to 6 o'clock in the evening, I'm dealing with sales reps and answering questions and going through their jobs. And then from 6 o'clock to around 8 o'clock, I have a little bit more peace. And then I would go home. So it was literally, I lived at the office because I had, and I wasn't the only one. I'm not trying to, no sob story here. Everybody
lived at the
office. We all were a family. Team. It was great. We were a family within the office. In fact, I was probably closer to that family than I was. He sold the
vision and the culture to everyone the right way.
Right. And so then, which was great. I mean, it was obviously successful, but over time, you have the turnover starts happening, right? And you can't, and training is harder because somebody just can't take that overwhelm anymore. So in office staff, one person leaves, it creates a huge gap in the process, and you have to fill that gap. And that's where I kind of started realizing, like, okay, this needs to be redundant. I need to be able to bring somebody in to do this piece of the job and be able to do it right away. I can't sit and wait for 2 weeks or 3 weeks for them to understand it. Today, they need to be doing the job that I need them to do. How do we do that? And how can we create that kind of situation and help this person stick around so it's not gets overwhelming? And that's kind of the first stage of that, was why we decided to go into a new CRM.
And so if you're watching this and you're thinking, well, I'm not keeping up with my money fast enough, I'm not following up on my leads, the accounting process, I don't know how much money I'm making, or even if you are doing it really well, but you want to run your supplement department with more efficiency, you want to collect your money faster, you want to extract profit from your company better, you want to increase margin, well, then this episode is for you. Because for me, just like we was talking about, we lost our CFO. We brought in a new guy who really helped us catch up our accounting processes. And in the third quarter, we had even bigger growth in the fourth quarter. And just a couple mistakes, we had 5 or 6 new people in accounting. And, because of the growth and the amount of work and the lack of automation in our system, it just caused, a lot of extra work, and it's almost like we're going backwards dealing with this. We shouldn't be dealing with this problem. It's like a football team that keeps getting false starts. Like, no, we're way past this. But no one is above making mistakes when you're dealing on human and you don't have process, and you don't have the documentation for every step along the way. And where I struggled most was following up on the deals in supplement, following up on my money so that I collect my money within 30 days of build, and really holding the sales team, general managers accountable. And we've always been good at generating the leads, generating them in the system. Teaching sales guys to complete an offer, which is getting a written proposal through the system to the sales to the customer, which increases closing. And we measure how many leads, offers, turned in projects, what projects they've sold, and it keeps us understanding the heartbeat of the roofing sales organization. But we're not helping them with their jobs that are getting denied in supplement. We're not helping them with overseeing their issues in project management and production when they're having hiccups. And what we're finding is that as we open more and more offices, that we were solving a lot of these problems with good management in person. And whenever you spread things out, that you have more of these simple false start problems that you shouldn't be having. And, so that's slow supplement, slow collection, challenging, speeding up production. This year's been tough because we've had to outsource and find all the materials. Our production managers are now spending a lot of time just finding the material. So all the extra time, and let me walk you through my system timeout in the back. And it was about 2010, my dad invented Claim Express. Claim Express was built for my uncle. My uncle's company was growing. My dad and my uncle had split up. And Claim Express allowed us to enter a lead. Everyone could digitally upload photos, track mapping, CRMs, add flags. You could send emails from the software. Then it went to a project where you complete a pre-work order where you estimate the material and labor, put a dollar amount for each trade. Then it would create a profitability cap sheet, and we could track commissions based on different types of users and convert projects into what we would call the production board method. And the production board method is how a lot of roofers run. So war room, everyone should have a war room where in one place all your production goes plat. But my uncle always wanted to figure out how to make a digital production board. And we did it with a list of work orders, but it's nothing quite replaced that drag and drop assembly line process where you take, each sales rep has their own color. And whether the job is ordered, completed, assigned to a roofer, held for permit, or a punch out exists, you move the magnets along the assembly line, take them off the assembly line. The problem is, how do you view these production boards? In my CRM, in Claim Express, it was in lists of work orders, and it required a lot of manual entry and updating. And everybody wasn't working from the same sheet of music. So I couldn't globally speed up my production, because it wasn't that I couldn't sell. It's really that I need to build and collect faster that allows me to get to my profits. And so, you've seen roofers struggle to kill the old you to become the new you, meaning if AccuLynx is not the right CRM, or that you're not using a CRM correctly and you want to move towards a new CRM, it's so hard for someone to give up their old software. Now, let me explain to you how hard it was for me. This is my dad's baby. This is my dad's dream. We've invested hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, and we had it available at AccuLynx. If I would have done a better job advertising for it, I could have made updates along the way and kept up, but we weren't in that business. We were in the roofing business. I couldn't figure it out fast enough. There just became a better software, and I didn't want to give up on my dad's dream. I'm loyal to my family. And so that's why it was so hard for me to make the switch, not just to pull all the data, but I felt like I'd be giving up on my uncle's system, on my dad's system, on our vision to give the salesperson, the insurance agent, and the customer a login so that everyone could stay in communication. Well, with all these different softwares now, Company Cam, Hail Recon, Hover, marketing automation software, text follow-up, scheduling appointments, connections to QuickBooks, API becomes the most important thing. And a moldability digital, like Trello-based system. And if you hadn't watched or been to Trello, how do you feel like using a board and moving a file is as far as visually? To me, it seems like digitally what we do in the production office. And the only thing different about what I'm doing with my new system is that we broke down each stage of my process. And so it goes like this. The salesperson has to go through all different types of process to get the deal sold. Then he turns the deal over to an admin who checks to make sure everything is correct. Then the production goes through ordering, delivering, checking off all work orders, not overpaying for payroll. Then the job either gets supplemented, invoiced, or sent to the mortgage. And then we have a collections department that's following up on it. So, what Job Nimbus and Aaron has allowed me to do is see where each file is in every single department and give every single department a way for them to only see their silo, and explain how that makes a difference, like compared to what we were doing,
Yeah. So I think we'll start. We typically where I start, like you said something about sales. Sales is something that you grow. And you can literally, you get the right sales guys, you just say, open the gate, go sell. Whatever, you're going to just keep funneling that stuff into the system. That's great. Whenever a lot of times what I find in this industry, in all industries, and when it comes to sales, is that typically that's where they feel the problem is. The problem is I'm not getting enough sales. Well, as you know, and you said on the back of your shirt, Knockstar, right? So all you have to do to get more sales is to go knock more doors at the basis of it. There's all kinds of different other ways, but you start there.
That's right.
That's the basis. That's all you have to do.
Hire more door-to-door salesmen.
That's it, right? The problem, and with that as the problem, it's not the problem. The problem is when it gets to production, that's the first wall that you hit. If you have a smooth production line where it's visible, you're able to move things throughout the status. When things are done, moving on to the next place, so the next person does it. You got all your, your permit, materials ordered, schedule build, do the inspection, close out the job, close out the work order, right? You do that. Your production manager knows how to do that. That's why you have the production board, so you can see it on a high level basis, right? Now, when on a magnet board, which is great for visibility. I think a lot of production gets used to the action of moving those cards. So it feels like it's part of the process, when really the part of the process is verifying if it's done or not. You're just trying to keep track of your jobs by moving that magnet. Well, if you have a busy day, how often do you, and all your roofers out there, how often do you find your production and you go in and see that board?
But now the magnets where they're supposed to be.
Right, and the magnets aren't where they're supposed to be because it's a task item that your production manager's busy building material orders.
Or maybe looking for schedules because they're short.
Right, and they're busy doing something else, and they don't have time today to go in now, and it just takes one day. Just what you were talking about with accounting, same thing, one little mistake. could cause when you don't have the visibility of every job and where everything is at, it becomes a whole nother job to figure out what that is. Same with when you have 25 jobs in the ticker, or you have 100 jobs in a ticker, one day without moving where things need to go throws off the entire system, throws everything off. This digital work order board, for instance, with Job Nimbus, it allows you to see your big picture, your 30,000 foot view of where all your jobs are at, but also allows you to go deeper into that work order and change statuses there. So you're really not necessarily moving things along the board. If you like to do it, great. But most of the time, what I found in this experience is they're actually doing their job. They're changing the status within that work order. So they're actually in the actual work order doing the work and moving along versus taking that down, writing notes and trying to remember what did he just say on the job? What did I just take that phone call? What happened there? I have to remember that. Okay, yeah, tomorrow or later on today, I'll move that over. I have to remember that. That's where production slows down, is because we're relying on memory. We're taking those phone calls. We're not actually doing the action that it takes to do it. If you can do it all in one shot and your production line is flowing, like you're 85 to 90% of the time, those jobs are going through the process just smoothly. What you can then tell your salesman, hey, I don't care how many sales you get in, my production is on point. I can handle 100 jobs a day because I know where everything's at. It's easy. I'm changing these statuses while I'm in it. It takes 2 seconds. I'm not having to go to my board and look as like, oh, well, no, everything's here. I have a report of all my subcontractors or where they're at today. I know they don't have anything tomorrow. I can do this. It's all within their screen that they're working on. So when your production manager is doing the work that they're already used to doing, and we're not coming in and telling the production manager, like, hey, now change your entire process. No, you're an expert at that. You're a good production manager. You keep doing that. I'm just going to make it easy for you to actually track every single job and in a timely manner. I have a client out in Colorado that he called me one day and I asked him how his production was going. And he's like, well, it's kind of lean right now. And it's like, well, what do you mean? It's like, well, we're not getting enough sales to keep production busy. It's like, wow, what a great problem to have, right? So what every salesman dreams of, I'm calling my salesman and say, hey, go to work. We don't have anything waiting. If you want to roof a job tomorrow, we can roof a job tomorrow. And you open your production line to be like, yeah, I need my production to get filled because I have everything on point.
Now, let me explain to you. We've always believed in fast production, and by having a localized production manager, having an assembly line production board, a general manager responsible for it, we give high margins to the general manager for managing it, and then just understand through chain of command that, and through a production manager and through our systems, it was getting done. And that was good enough. But what it does is cuts margin. There's inefficiencies. It's highly dependent on the people. And with the process, everyone becomes more plug and play. And I'm moving towards becoming an ESOP, an employee stock option plan. I want to have a company that can be publicly traded. I'm looking for a certain profit margin, and I'm looking for the maximum value of our RCA as possible. Not because I want to sell it, because I want to maximize the value and give the people that are involved in it the chance to build wealth with me.
Right.
And, this system is what I need, not just to execute the $200 million in business this year and to run 20-something locations and to finish over 3,500 projects, but it's also what I need to accomplish $1 billion in sales. When I partner with roofing companies and end up having, in every different major city, 3 or 4 partners, or and we really are like McDonald's or Chick-fil-A on every corner per se in every roofing market. We have to have the McDonald's way. And the thing about Claim Express was the back end wasn't as good as my front end, because like teams that have great offense in the NFL, like Tom Brady, like I'm that guy, dude. Let me tell you, your guy that wants more sales. Okay. we make it rain with the Facebook leads. We make it rain with the recruits through the automated recruiting. We teach them how to get the high-end residential and commercial, but it's really the way that we accelerate recruiting and the way that we accelerate lead generation and the way we train door-to-door guys and our system for door-to-door that makes us be able to click a button and literally make salespeople, jobs just pour. Make it rain like a hurricane.
Yeah.
And, that's what I feel like everybody has to realize is that you need a good offense, you need a good defense. I've had a great process. It's worked for years. I've made a lot of money with it. But in order for me to become the new to become the new me, I have to literally punt, give up on my dad's vision, go to another software company. Even though we're doing a great job and it's a good system and it worked since 2012, this is what's best for the company. And the pain of having to go through entering all the data. We have thousands of projects. The pain of having to switch and train all the salespeople, managers, it's all going to be worth it. To be able to track every little aspect of where I'm at, supplement-wise, collections-wise, and build-wise. Currently building 120 to 150 roofs a week or wanting to build that many roofs. I'm, essentially trying to go way even beyond that. And I can't do it. I've reached a maximum capacity. And if you're a business owner and you feel like you've reached a maximum capacity with your recruiting or with your build or with your sales or with your production, sometimes you have to literally scrap what you've done in the past and you have to try something completely new. You have to check your ego at the door.
Yep.
For me to even have this conversation publicly is an example for everyone that, it doesn't matter what you have. If you can find a better way, you owe it to your team, your family. You're stealing from your family if you don't go with the better way.
Right.
And it's just about successful actions of others, proven systems, knowing that, I have clients, they've showed me, I've compared Job Nimbus versus AccuLynx. The reason why I went with Job Nimbus is because it's the ability to communicate with other softwares. And the biggest challenge for me training salespeople is training them how to measure roofs. I use Planometer. Planometer is a really cool tool. It's like $7 app. People don't realize they can hand measure roofs with their hands on an iPhone in less than 5 minutes without quick squares or anything. The problem is it doesn't give a sweet report like Hover. And that not everyone can use this tool, and it's whatever. My point is, if you just have a Hover report done, it takes the guesswork out of measuring a roof, measuring siding, and then you have a macro built. It takes the guesswork out of building an estimate, out of even building a work order, and now you upload that directly into the system.
Yes.
And so now we've taken the most challenging part for a sales rep, which is teaching him how to do a roof estimate and a roof work order, or how to do it, and we've automated it. And so now all he has to focus on is selling. That's the first step of the automation. So it's like, okay, I've got to give it that. Now, y'all have heard about my No Roof Left Behind direct mail campaign. That's where we go through the neighborhoods with Hail Recon, Hail Trace, whatever you decide, drop pins on the roofs that are left behind, that roofs that need to be direct mailed, export the data, send them direct mail, call them on the telephone, then show up at their doorstep while we're sending video ads on Facebook. This is literally how we hit and take over, win the hearts and minds of the neighborhood. And this is the reason why my system is the best. There's no one else that teaches it. They don't combine the geographical targeting of a Facebook ads. They don't combine the direct mail. And they're certainly not hardcore door-to-door like me. Not SVG, not any of these other systems, because the truth is that they may have had success in a different market, but as the market's changed, it's a new game every day. And just like Claim Express was great before, the new game and precedent is to have communications, automations for it to be an API that can work with Company Cam, Hover, Hail Recon, Hail Trace, QuickBooks, marketing off automation softwares like HubSpot, Twilio to send text messages, Schedule One to schedule the appointments, and have it all working together in unison. There's no other choice for roofers or for contractors. I mean, I don't even know how. You said that Job Progress does a little bit of API.
Yeah, they do. And it really comes down to what's going to make sense for you and your company on how the systems with open APIs, I believe those are the most important ones. Something that what I like about Job Nimbus as well as Job Progress, those two systems, is that you're talking about moving from one system to another. So with that, let's look at the behavior of your team, right? Your team and your sales guys understand a certain way to do their job. Now, for better and quicker adaptation to those new systems, so they already know we're changing, right? They already know it's changing. It's important to have a system that you can, especially coming from like Claims Express, that you're coming from. I want to make sure that their experience that they have today is similar to the experience you're going to have in Job Nimbus, but better, right? That's the focus. It's definitely different, but it's not worse, it's better. It's going to, change is tough. And no matter what you're going to do, doesn't matter how easy it is, it's still change, and behaviorally it's hard. So if your entire team, your entire company understands that this is how we do things here in this system. If you build that system out, that feels kind of the same, but more and better, like you saw it the other day when we went through it yesterday. It's like, we're trying to keep the same kind of names and how the process goes, and it makes sense. You're visualizing what you do inside Claims Express as well as what you do outside of Claims Express. You can see it all in the system, all together. That was valuable, right?
That's incredibly valuable.
Right. So now that if you're seeing it that way, your sales guys are going to see it that way. Your accounting team, your collections, all those, your departments are going to look at it and they're like, oh, this is what I do all the time anyway. But now I see it in front of me. Now it's easier for me to walk through the system, and I get to see all of the jobs that I need to, and each location will be able to see just that. And so being able to build something out that it's really important to make sure you're looking at the behavior of your team, because I've been there, and when I wish I would have known that lesson. It's been, 30 some odd contractors later, I've learned that, it's one thing to change, even if you're in Job Nimbus already, and you're starting a new system, and you're looking at your system and you're finding statuses that have 150 jobs, for instance. Quick hint, something's not working. If you're having certain statuses within it's not a good process. You have your guys, they're just dropping their jobs in this status because they don't know what to do. There's no decision that needs to be made. Claims Express is good because it is built around that concept. It's like, okay, when you're done here, you're going to move it here.
Yeah.
It makes sense to them. So why would we change that? So in any process, all your guys have a system that they follow every single day, whether it's they think about it or it's just systematic, right? They're going to do the same thing every single day. If we can build a system out that shows that, we're not trying to teach Chinese, we're trying to speak the same language, and just it looks a little bit different. You're going to get that adaptation, and that goes to all, and that's what's huge about this, taking the old and not just scrapping it. Of course, there's a reason why it works, right?
But customizing, that's what's cool about it. That's cool. And compared to AccuLinks, there's not those customizable features in AccuLinks.
No.
AccuLinks doesn't communicate with all the other APIs. You said that the updates on AccuLinks usually take years to catch up, right. And where Job Nimbus is focused on updating and connecting with the most and best softwares of all time. Now, if we're getting into this techno babble, look, this is for any contractor. This is for roofers, for insurance guys. And the truth is like, this is the process. Like when we take a job in, the most important thing is the intake and what they do before you ever build the job. And my process is sound. It's been passed down, evolved over generation. But if I still see a sound process that can be improved upon, and it could be made excellent, and I have to bring in, let's like say the New Jersey Nets just picked up Kevin Harden. Now they got Kyrie or what's his name? Not Kevin Harden, James Harden. They got Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving. Now they also have D'Angelo Jordan. They have a whole stacked lineup. Now, does the fact that they couldn't win with just Kevin and Kyrie, does that make it, is it any less of a championship if they win a championship because they brought in James Harden? Meaning, what if that they broke the salary cap? What if people say, Kevin Durant, you'll never win a championship without being on a super team? What? So what? No, my point is, no one really says those things. But for a roofer, they always think, like, a lot of times I'm another roofer, so they think, well, what if I bring on Lee? I don't want to bring on Lee. The ego comes into it. They're like, well, I got it all figured out on my own. What if this happens? They start telling all these things to themselves. Or they say they already have it figured out, software or whatever, and they're just unwilling to realize that there could be a better way. Now, I've coached 700 roofers, about 100 of them at a very personal, intimate level, and I've seen a lot of different good processes. And looking over people's shoulder, looking over in the job nimbus, looking in the AccuLinks, comparing it to Claim Express, it took me a little while longer because I didn't want to let go of my ego. I didn't want to let go of our family software. I didn't want to let go of our big idea. But in the end, what's going to happen is if you're watching this, we're going to have the most advanced system that has text automation throughout the entire process, scheduling appointments, following up with video sales letters that overcome objections for the sales, that follow up throughout the build process, explaining customer service, that help with collections. And together, me and Aaron are going to offer at the American Dream Conference the opportunity for you to work with Aaron and get a special discount through my network. And so the system that I'm going to pay thousands of dollars to Aaron, probably $60,000 or more this year. And we're going to make that same system available, plug and play for you at a fraction of the cost. So you want to stay tuned for that. If you're enjoying this episode, make sure that you subscribe, comment. We always respond to the comments, get the notifications. Aaron, I really want to look at a small guy that is not really using a CRM, that doesn't really have the processes, that is selling, that's maybe reached his capacity because he's doing 70 roofs a month, but he can't pay his bills and he does have these challenges. Where's the biggest problem they have? Where do you see their biggest problem usually?
Well, no tracking.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's like
They don't know how much they're making.
Oh, and overwhelm.
No intake.
Yeah. So
Some of them don't have production managers.
Right.
You ever seen the one-man band?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Have you ever seen the one-man band still operating without using the CRM that just hates using a computer?
Absolutely. They have everything. I've been to an office where literally the whole little area was like their garage, and it was piles of files and all this stuff. And that there, it's overwhelm. And so you have an owner that what they're great at doing is selling. That's a great thing. That's what they love to do. So when they sell and they get to this point where they have to do the paperwork and they hate doing that, it sits. And so when they get, and then all of a sudden you get this pile going, and they come in the office in the morning like, I'm gonna go through every single one of these. I'm gonna go through 10 of them today. I'm gonna get them supplemented. I'm gonna get them on the board to get production going. That's their intention. Then they get the phone call from us homeowners like, hey, I'm ready for you to come in and do the inspection. My insurance company called me there. And exactly, Squirrel. That owner's
Squirrel.
gone. Absolutely.
Squirrel.
Right.
It's like my dogs, when I'm walking them, they see a bunny rabbit.
Right. So what happens? The sales guy owner goes out and sells that job because that's more money. Well, the problem is they go back to the office, they got the overwhelm, they have to tucker down. We have no tracking. I have no visibility. I'm sitting here trying to remember every single job that I've talked to, every single person. Homeowner calls in the middle of the job. What's going on with my job? Let me see. Let me check out. Where's that file? Hold on. Give me 1 second. That customer experience becomes awful. Now you were great. They were great at the door. They felt real good. The customer trusts them. They're ready to go. But then they get back, and it's not because he's not trustworthy. It's because his process isn't trustworthy. He can't trust his own process because he's he just has piles of it.
You got piles of files and you can't trust your own process. You owe it to yourself right now to
100%.
Comment below. Aaron will reach out to you direct, get you on a free strategy call. He'll find the holes in your business. He's done it for me. If he can do it for me, he can do it for you. If he can do it for the guy, Scotty, a great leader in the roofing business and great example at Interstate, he can do it for anybody, because these big companies with all these different processes and files, it really maximizes it. You can't do it without a process. So you take and you go down. And this is why someone says that a smaller company is easier to run than a bigger company. and people only want to keep their businesses 5 million, or they only want to keep their business 20 million. I mean, at 20 million a year, you're making a really good clip out of a consistent market like Denver. Take it for a guy like Randy. You've been on his show. You know, he's got a CEO, his business runs. He's a good coach. He has a good program. But you know, the real deal is like, you know, it's like, I don't subscribe to a theory that bigger is worse. My theory is that having all the people, that's my superpower, and the collective mind of my team makes my team smarter. And then the more people that we have to do the work, the more that we can make an impact. And so, you know, the deal is if I can generate roof jobs through an advertising campaign for $500 a job, and I can hire sales guys like crazy, I can get as many jobs as I want. Now I have the keys to become $1 billion roofing company. And, you know, my goal is educate the roofing community, help each other level up, and let's stick it to the man. Let's stick it to the State Farms. Let's stick it to the corporate America. And if you're looking to partner up with somebody, this roofing professional network, it's a big idea that my students and I are going to take over the roofing industry by taking over the airwaves on advertising, implementing a recruiting component. See, through Sky Diamonds, we're actually raising the awareness of roofing and door to door, and in this tough economy where technology is shrinking the middle class, we got the solution. And so if you're watching this and you want to be a part of what we're doing, and you want us to plug the holes in your ship and figure out how you can get to the next level, you know, comment below. If you go to skydiamonds-roadmap.com, you can actually get a roadmap. And I think the first step of this, the third step is I go sell $1 million, then hire a salesman to sell $1 million. And then the third step is get a production manager and office admin. Of course, you got to have a CRM before all of that.
Yeah.
And that's the first prerequisite, right?
Right, 100%.
You can't do any of it without a CRM.
No, you can't do anything with any kind of process. CRM is going to be the best thing for you to do. Like, you can go out and send a guy out and sell $1 million. Now, do you have a production team that can handle $1 million worth of work? And can they track it? So that's the CRM starts first. If you have like what I'll have that free health check type of deal, like free health, I'll look at your system and I'll look at that and see where are some opportunities that you can get rid of some of these unnecessary bottlenecks that you don't need. And a lot of times it's wording. It's like, I don't even know what to do from here. It's creating automations. That's something that a good CRM should have great automation. So then your CRM is telling your guys, this is what you do next, versus them trying to remember, because just learning, education is great. Educating your sales rep on sales, on the roofing projects, how to do material orders, all that stuff is great. But when it's great that you have that, but when you have 30 jobs in your pipeline, that's where you need help. So you're not remembering. So systems like these can allow that kind of automation to happen.
The thing is that you are stealing from your family when you have like piles of files. You don't have a process. You don't have a system. You're killing your own sanity. You're uncoachable and unhelpable if you won't take the time to put your oxygen mask on first. Plane's going down, you got a problem, you can't pay your bills, and guess what? You can't put your oxygen mask on first. You can't take the time to build your own system. You can't take the time to focus on growth work, not grunt work. You think escaping this anxiety of all these piles of files by just answering a call from a customer is going to make it all better. It's not. The only thing that's going to make it better is to set the system up, is to get the coaching you need. And the most expensive thing you have in your business is, you know, paying for the knowledge that you don't have. And if Aaron has knowledge and I have knowledge, and that can get you where you need to be 5 years faster, well, we're going to make you millions of dollars for pennies on the dollar. And it's so funny, you know, that I'm willing to invest $60,000 and Aaron's initial estimate may be 25. But I know that throughout the course of the year, I'm going to call on him and I'm going to want his support. And I'm already saying, I'm going to spend $60,000 with you. But it's very easy for me to do that. I've had a lot of consultants. I see the value you bring to the table. I want you to pour into my company. I want extra time and support. I want to become a case study, and we want to do stuff together in the future. 100%. See, this is how you get the most out of your coaches and consultants. I see roofers that want to peanut pay, put their foot in, dip their foot in the water. They don't want to put the time in to make my system work. They're unsure. But it's like, look at the testimonials. Look at the people I'm working with. Look at the stuff that I share on the internet here. There's enough evidence. We've generated mid-9 figures in results for our clients, mid-9 figures in results for ourselves. We are doing this at a different level. Just since you were sitting here, I just got an Insta story. What was it? The guy that was commenting, what did he say?
I don't know.
Well, it was a guy. It was a guy. Just another one today.
Oh, right. Yeah.
He grew his business from $2 million to $8 million. Yeah. Another text message I got from a guy, all retail roofer, also same, $2 million to $7.8 million. He was no insurance, only because I helped him add salespeople and got him more leads and coached him all year. And another company, 8-figure guy who'd hired SVG, door to door, Roofing Insights, follows us all. Right. His company moved the needle when it was already at $14 million. They did $20 million in sales. Chris Construction. He'll be on the CEO panel. So guys, what we do differently is we are leaders in the market. We have a system that works in the market. We're transparent. We show you this growth, this pursuit to become. We don't pull any punches. We're trying to build the system to become the largest group in the entire roofing industry, bigger than ABC Supply, bigger than Beacon. And these big dogs, I mean, you've got a private family that's got billions in wealth, and you've got a publicly traded company. These are juggernauts in the roofing industry. You know, they're making money hand over fist, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's a great American dream. But why can't you, as a blue-collar entrepreneur, be a part of this first publicly traded roofing movement? And that's really what it's all about. I'm, educating the roofers, learn from another roofers, but I'm advancing my growth system. Right. And the more I advance the growth system, for one, learning from coaches, learning from advertising, learning from, as I grow, the mistakes I made and what has to change, just the things that we've had to do here so I can build, 200 million is going to affect not just me, but it's going to affect hundreds, if not thousands of other contractors behind that are in my system following, saying, I'm dropping AccuLinks. I'm dropping my system. I want the complete system that you and Aaron put together. I want it for me. And if you want it and you want that for your system, then just comment Job Nimbus below and we will get you in touch. Me and Aaron will do a strategy call. We'll find out where the holes in your business are. And if you need to make it rain leads, salespeople, commercial jobs, that's my job. If you want someone to coach you up on leadership, on the operation systems that have worked to this point, that's me. If you want the CRM customized so that you have the most modern and advanced automated profit machine that grows consistently, can take unlimited amount of jobs, then that's where Aaron's going to come in like a ninja, and he's going to build out something that will give you freedom, that will double, triple, quadruple sales, your ability to sell together. That's lightning and thunder. So here's the deal. Type in Job Nimbus if you would like us to help you out with our proprietary system. Aaron's going to be at my event.